What up? This is Rap Hits, and so the real reason why they changed Durks charges is because look, the feds messed up big time when they used that false lyric example as evidence. So when you do that, that's messing with your due process because they told that to a grand jury and it's supposed to be fact based. So now they're trying to drop those lyrics and add new charges of stalking that led to an unaliving. So also it looks like they might be dropping that Dirk put money on someone's head. They might be dropping that charge as well, it looks like. So that's going to be easier, I think, for Dirk. Now that it looks like they're removing, trying to say that he paid for the M. If they do that, I think that's a good look. I mean, this is positive news, I would say, because look, Trap Lord Ross, he has a pessimistic view about what's going on with Dirk, but he didn't even know who his lawyer was. You know what I'm saying? Trap Lord Ross thought Dirk's lawyer was Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele.
And we're going to basically ask ChatGPT if we can get a defense. Okay, Dirk's paying $3,000 an hour to I believe it's Drew Findling. I think Brian Steele has joined the team. I see a lot of people in the comments saying you don't even know who Dirk's lawyer is. Oh, is Brian Steele's not his lawyer? I swear I see the news, unless I was mistaken by some fake news. I heard that Brian Steele had joined the Lil Durk team, which is why I kept referencing him. That's why I kept referencing him. But maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not true. I'm looking it up now. It was reported. It was reported. All right. So look, just hang on. They're saying he's joining Diddy's team. Maybe he isn't joining Durk's team. Maybe I got it wrong. So if that's the case, I could be wrong. But I was hearing that Young Thug's lawyer Brian Steele was joining Lil Durk's team. I guess that must have been cap. Maybe I got bamboozled by some fake news there. But regardless, it don't matter. We're gonna jump back on.
He had to correct himself on live and say, "Oh yeah, my bad. I guess it was, I had the wrong lawyer." He's saying that he had no idea that Durk's lawyer was not Brian Steele, but instead the $1 billion lawyer, Drew Findling. So that shows you right there that Trap Lord Ross, he's biased and he's from the UK, so he doesn't understand how serious it is that they messed up on that evidence. So look, for them to remove that evidence about his lyrics shows that they're conceding now. So that's going to be a point of concession now. Now, are they admitting that you guys provided false testimony to the grand jury? Well, Drew doesn't have to give up on that now that they removed it. He still can say, hey, look, he was charged falsely. He was falsely charged. You guys used false evidence. That's a big deal. Like if you use false DNA evidence or false anything, that's a big deal that a lawyer can pick at until it's wide open. Like he can keep picking at that, picking away at it until, you know, he shuts them down with it. And they're already trying to shuffle the cards now and say, hey, look, forget that evidence then. But it's not as easy as that when you got the right lawyer, because that stuff like that actually matters. So I think that's significant. Plus, with them adding stalking and dropping the payment, so now they're saying, okay, maybe he didn't pay it because they're saying that Vonnie and Didi or somebody had paid for the, you know, for the for the unaliving of Quando's brother. They're saying that was all orchestrated by other people in that RICO. So they're gonna throw it on them and say, I guess they paid for it instead of Dirk, which makes sense because I was saying the whole time that they could have acted alone. Now they're saying stalking, so meaning, okay, so Dirk flew out there on the private plane to Cali and was kind of in the background making sure everything happened. I guess that's what they're trying to say, which is still a charge that can carry life. But I think that would be much easier for Dirk to beat than the payment. The payment sounded crazy. I mean, for him to pay for that, you know, put a ticket on Quando, that was bad. That sounded like it was harder to beat than them saying he is stalking, because he can come up as long as he had a valid excuse for being out in LA that night. I think that he can prove that, you know what I'm saying? If he didn't have no business out there, it's gonna be tougher for Dirk to prove why was he out there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Why was he out there? And with anybody telling on him and saying that, yeah, Dirk paid me to do that, they can destroy their credibility. You know what I'm saying? Because these are criminals themselves that would be the ones talking and telling and say, hey, Dirk put me up to this, you know. But their credibility is trashed anyways because they're criminals as well. So Finley would have no problem showing the jury that these guys aren't credible. The ones that are saying Dirk paid or made them do that or anything like that. So I think Dirk has a good chance. I think this is good news for Dirk, this whole thing. But the other thing looks like it's coming out is about Dirk's brother D-Thing, which is a separate case. But I think it looks like they might be trying to add that to his case or actually hit him with charges on that. And that's going to be a whole new animal for Dirk to deal with. If they do that, if they try to throw that D-Thing body on Dirk too, like he paid for somebody, they're already saying somebody's in the jail system telling on Dirk, saying that Dirk, he might have told an informant in the cell with him. They had tricked him and had put an informant in the cell with the dude that did the D-Thing hit. You know what I'm saying? The dude that went on that drill for D-Thing was in jail talking to an alleged informant, from what I understand, and he might have told that informant everything about who paid him, and it was Dirk, and they was waiting for Dirk to come pay him, and all that. So if that's the case, I mean, Dirk's gonna have to deal with that when it comes. So we're gonna see. I think June, it's coming up in June. The $1 billion lawyer Drew Finley. I think people are underestimating him. I heard he got a super good record. Like I'm hearing his record is very good as far as beating cases. I think he knows how to beat a case. He's a trial lawyer. He says this is what he's born to do, basically. So this is what he does. You know what I'm saying? Trap Lord Ross thinks that Durks cooked, basically, and he had to make a apology video, basically, for because a lot of fans were turning on Trap Lord Ross for saying Durks cooked. Like this dude doesn't understand, I think, Dirk at all. He doesn't really understand his lane that people are giving him credit for. He's kind of a nerd, and I don't think he understands the streets. He doesn't see it from different angles. He doesn't understand. He can't even relate to what people like from the trenches go through. People from these communities go through, where we can be wrongly accused of things. He doesn't understand that actually happens. Stuff like that happens. I don't think he gets that. I don't think Trap Lord gets that things, people can be wrongly accused of things, because I don't necessarily see Dirk as someone that crashes out like what they're saying that he did. I could almost see it for D-Thing, but not so much for the one that got him on right now with Vonnie and for the Quando hit. I don't necessarily see him as doing that. I see Dirk as more of a professional that surrounds himself around criminals. And that can get you jammed up too, but if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. And I think you got a better chance. You got a actually decent chance of beating it if he really didn't do it, no matter what. No matter what anybody's saying or going up against him or testifying, any of that stuff, I think he can beat, especially with Drew Finley. I'm hearing Finley is made for this. He's built for this, yo. So, look, the stalking charges are going to be much easier to beat, I think, than payment charges. Paying for, putting a ticket on someone versus stalking them. Now, there's still reasonable doubt here, because I don't see that as a stronger position. Plus, with them already conceding and making changes like that, calling it superseding, and okay, we'll get rid of that the first lyric that we were trying to say, and we'll get rid of that he put a ticket on somebody. It's like, hey, it's like you guys are basically admitting that you had bogus charges on Dirk in the first place. And I don't think that just goes away. The way people just think, okay, well, let's just, he shouldn't have said nothing. He should have waited till trial to say that or something. No, I mean, he could have, I guess. I think, what's his name was saying that, Trenches News was saying that he should have just waited to trial to bring all that up. And then he could have whooped them. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of true. If he wouldn't been trying to get bail for Dirk, instead just waited for trial and just kept all that under wraps, don't go on a media run, don't make any motions, I think, and save all that information for trial, they would have got cooked. they would have gotten cooked. So he's playing with Durks' life in a way by doing this. But I think Drew Findling saw opening by bringing that stuff up. He saw like, okay, let's go, because I found something substantial that could probably get it dismissed before trial, before even having to go to trial. And I think, for them to maneuver and change and drop a few other things that Drew was calling them out on, for them to concede and say, okay, yeah, we'll get rid of that. Now they're trying to position themselves back to where, they're credible. But, I think Drew knows, you would hope he knows what he's doing, because he did kind of fumble the bag there. And he's playing with Durks' life, because like I said, like Trench has said, like if he would have just waited till trial to bring that up, he would have won. Like that would have been serious to bring up in court, and to not show your hand yet. Just to keep that to yourself. Keep that between Durk and Finley, and wait till trial to bring all that up. Man, they would have been cooked. Like Durk would have walked. Durk would have walked if But I think Drew knows what he's doing. I think there's a reason why he didn't do it that way. I think he knows what he's doing, because they have other evidence. It's not just that, but their other evidence. I mean, this is just addressing that one part, And I think Drew is more complicated than that. I think Drew knows what he's doing. He's not a $1 billion lawyer for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So he knows what he's doing. I think it's looking better for Durk than it ever has looked before. I think Durk has a chance to we'll see. I think his next date is June. Let me see. It's early June, when they're gonna go before the judge, I guess, and have some more arguments to see if they can get him bail. And Drew's gonna bring up how they made those big mistakes. And these are significant mistakes. So now they're trying to correct that and say, well, forget all that. We got this. So they're trying to get ahead of the game before June. I think it's June 2nd. Well, I'll let y'all know in another video, but it's June something coming up where, sorry, I don't got the date for you right now, but sometime in the first week or second week of June, Durk goes back before the judge, and they're going to try to see if they can get him bail or get it dismissed. Now, he's probably not going to get it dismissed now, because they removed those charges. But at this point, I think they can bring up pretty good reasoning why he should get bail. I mean, it looks like they rushed to pick him up when he went, to try to catch those flights out of the country. Now, Drew's trying to explain what he was doing was he didn't want to sit in coach. You know what I'm saying? They try to put him on a basic seat in the middle of the plane, and they're saying Durk was switching the flights because he was looking for, he decided to go private flight out the country. And, I got to be honest, it looked like he was running. It did look like he was running, just to me personally, because okay, they're saying they took his phone before that big show, for his birthday bash, for that show, his final show. And that was like the next day they had, or earlier that day, they had already picked up a few of the hitters from that drill. And he was shook, and I think he went through with the show anyways, not to raise suspicion. And then he was going to try to book his way out of the country the next day or two. He was trying to get out of the country as soon as he knew he had to leave. I think he was trying to run. It almost looked like that, or at least to get his mind together. Like, he's probably going to sit up somewhere in a city, in a country that doesn't have any laws to take you back to the U.S. You know what I'm saying? I forget what they call that, but he was trying to go to a law that has no rules about them having to, honor anything going on with a warrant. And he could have sat up there and figured out his next move. He would have been in control of his future from there, where, okay, he's out the way. He's in another country where they can't it's called extradite, where they can't extradite him. And I think he was going to be out there trying to figure out his next move from there. And if he even wants to go back to the country, to the States, to face these charges or not. It's possible he was trying to run, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good. That's why he has there's a chance that Durk is gonna, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. This could go anywhere. I'm not gonna be like Trap Lord Ross and say he's cooked, but he's gonna have to convince that judge that he wasn't trying to leave the country. And I think they really think he was trying to leave the country. Plus, they're putting Durk like he was Larry Hoover or something, or David Barksdale. So they're putting them up on a level to where they're seeing Durk as a serious person that they need to keep behind bars unless he's proven innocent. So I'll be real with you. I mean, Trap Lord Ross, I know why he's saying that Durk is cooked, but I wouldn't say he's cooked. I wouldn't say that. I would say that he has a big fight ahead of him, and anything can happen at this point. I think Drew Findling, the $1 billion lawyer, is more than capable of pulling out a miracle on this, because, like he said, this is the big leagues. This is the all-star game. Like he's saying, the state is like the local high school or something, man. The feds are like the big leagues, you know what I'm saying? So he knows what he's up against. He's used to this. I guess Findling first was representing King Von before, and then he was representing NBA Youngboy, and now he's representing Little Durk. And I think that it looks like he has quite the record of winning on trial. He will find something to get that reasonable doubt and to show a biased charges. If they try, he's saying they're trying to charge him because he's a rapper and his content, what he raps about. But there's Drew saying that this is a national star. He's an international celebrity, and he's trying to clean up his image. And Durk was already cleaning up his image before he went in. And then Drew Findling also is taking this to the public. I think that's his strategy right now. It looks like is bringing all this up to the public. He's fighting his case in the public right now instead of the courtroom. And there must be a reason why he's doing this, because some people are saying, hey, you should be saving all this for the courtroom and doing less, say less when it comes to public interviews and stuff. So he did an interview with ADMITS, and then now he's doing an interview with Vlad TV, and he's been doing a publicity run, because I think he thought he had them at first, but now the feds is shifting up and switching up their strategy, because he's telling everybody what's going on. So we'll see if he has a bigger plan, you know what I'm saying, or if the feds was able to outmaneuver him by switching up his charges like this, because he gave them such a heads up, and he's been so public about everything. But like I said, this could be all part of his plan too. Drew Findling could be going public for a reason. He could think that he has this regardless. Like this whole public campaign with the interviews and all that, this is all part of his strategy, obviously, because otherwise he wouldn't have accepted any of those interviews. So what he's doing is some people are saying he could be trying to influence maybe future potential jurors, or whatever his strategy is. He's up to something for going public instead of keeping this private. So I don't think it's just that he's looking for clout. I think this is all part of Durk's. I think Durk's lawyer is actually conducting his strategies right now before our eyes by going on these interviews. This is all part of his legal strategy for Durk, what he's doing right now. So that's why he's doing these media runs and stuff. It's all part of the strategy. So I would think he has a bigger plan. I don't think he got outsmarted like people think. I think he knows what he's up to. So we'll see in June, early June, which is a month from now. Durk is up to see if he gets bail or even his charges dismissed. They're reconsidering some things. They already conceded some things. They're obviously Drew was right about some things, because they dropped some evidence, and they're adding new charges now. They're trying to redefine their message about what they got on Durk. I think they were rushed into picking up Durk, which is good, because now they were forced their hand. Now they're actively investigating him at this point, but they're trying to drop new charges on him and all that. But at this point, they're obviously being pressured to make changes by what Drew's doing. And then their last card they have is to try to throw this D thing situation on Durk as well. So Durk, if they do that, if they put that D thing on Dirk, it's not gonna look good. But I think that's gonna be tougher for Dirk if they actually try to throw that D thing situation on Dirk. But for now, it doesn't look like that's on him yet. If they do that though, I think it could be finished for Dirk after that, because now he's gonna have to, that's like getting struck by lightning twice. He's gonna have to not only beat the Kwando thing, but the D thing. Then at that point, it's I think it's almost like, dang, this dude is really facing some stuff, and it's not looking good. I would say at that point, but it's not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible. And if he really didn't do this stuff, that's his best chance of winning, is if he's truly innocent. But like I said, those mistakes they found, it's not a good look for the feds. Those mistakes that Drew found, I think that could really destroy their case. I don't care what nobody says. You can't. That's violating your due process. And I know a little bit about this stuff. Like, you can't be making mistakes like that when you're prosecuting someone. You can't be you got to have your stuff almost perfect. You can't just be presenting evidence that's false and get away with it. That's becoming an issue, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna keep y'all updated as more information comes available. This has been Rap Hits. Let's get over 100 likes on this video. Make sure you subscribe and all that. Follow Rap Hits on social media and all that. I'm out.